So if I were to do that bend we just were looking at on the whiteboard, well, it was the second string, 5th fret, and I'm bending it so that it sounds like the note on the 7th fret because it's set a full bend. I got to pick this one and bend it to make it sound like that one. This takes some getting used to. To hear it, feel it. We're going to do an easier one first though. So we're going to bend from 5 to 6. So I recommend that you pick this note at 6, listen to it, and then when you go here to bend that one, you're going to try to match how that sounded. Also, whenever you bend, I recommend you hook your thumb around for leverage and use some other fingers. If you're bending with your 3rd, use your other 2 fingers on the same string. They're all on the 2nd string, and they'll all help you get more strength and power out of your bend with your thumb hooked for leverage. If you just try to bend like this with just that finger, it can get sloppy. You can get pop out, like you pick it and the string will pop right out like so. There, it pops right out of. So if you get these other fingers to help, say we're going to do a 4-finger bend, put them all on there, have the thumb hooked, and they're all kind of helping. A 3-finger bend, well, these 2 guys will help that one. If it's a 2-finger bend, well, then only 1 finger's helping the 2nd, and the thumb's still hooked though. A 1-finger bend, well, sorry, this guy's on his own except for the thumb to help. So it takes a little time getting used to these bends. See, you're getting that sound effect, that the note coming up. So the best ones to first try are just half-step bends, where you're gonna pick this one to make it sound like that one. Once you get strong enough in your fingers and your hands to do that, then you'll try a whole step bend. Like say, we're gonna pick this, the 7th fret here, to make it sound like the 9th fret. So you can even test that note. You go here and they're a little harder to do. And there's even 3 fret bends and 4 fret bends. Huge bends. Wow. Some of them really tough to do. Keep in mind also that you can break strings doing this. They might pop sometimes when you're really working them like that, bending them too hard, or maybe even knock you out of tune, especially if they're new strings, because when you're bending them, you're really stretching them, and so they could go out of tune or possibly break. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We don't want that to happen, but it can. But there's practicing the bends. Now it's obvious when you're bending on your 1st and 2nd string, you need to push this string up. You can't come down and you go off the neck. See, I went right off the neck. You don't want that, so you have to go up for those. The last 2, string number 6 and 5, well, you got to pull those kind of down to bend them. Because if you go up, you go right over the neck, which we don't want. So these last 2, we'll pull them down. And the 2 middle strings, number 3 and 4, you can go up or down. I prefer going up. I just feel I have better control when I go up than when I come down. You know, I like that feeling. I have more control and more power, and it's more comfortable doing that. All right, so there's some bends for you. We'll back out and add a few more things here, which I'd like to say. And okay, so when you're bending, remember you're really trying to train your ear to make it sound like that note. there's also a feel factor. You get used to how much pressure you need to apply to make it work or sound right. And bends can be done on any string, any fret, any finger, anywhere. So you want to practice them a lot of different places, different positions, different strings with different fingers to work your strength up there. And this is only bends is what we're talking about. Later on in another lesson we'll do what's called reverse bends, or pre-bend and release. And then later on a bend and release. And then later unison bends. So there's a whole bunch of different bends that we'll want to go over. All right, so today was only just bending, nothing else. Hope this helps. Now go do some jamming. See ya. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate a bend and release here on Blondie, Fender Telecaster. Isn't she beautiful? Oh man. So, second string, 9th fret. I'm going to use my 3rd finger to do it. I'm going to take the 1st and 2nd finger and put them on the same string and hook the thumb. These are all going to help bend together. Teamwork and the thumb. Arch for leverage. And so I'm going to do a half step bend. I'm going to bend here from 9, just like it showed, a half step on the tab thing, from 9 to 10. So I got to bend that note to make it sound like this note. It's a good idea to test that note. And then go here and bend it and try to match that sound. Okay? So we're getting a bend and release. So I'm going to bend it and release it back to its normal pitch. You hear it go back down. All there is to it. Bend and release. If it was instead of a half and it was a whole step, then I'd be bending the 9 to make it sound like the 11 here. Bend and release. We want that. Okay, so there's an example of bend and release. Okay, so bends can be difficult. It takes a lot of strength in the hand and the fingers to do them. So at first it's difficult. It seems hard to do. Not just with getting the strength to do it, but also with hearing it, if it was right. If you're doing it on an acoustic guitar, it's definitely harder. Electrics are a little easier, but it's still tough. It still takes some getting used to. Not just the strength, but also the coordination. So you want to practice your bends. They can be done on any string, any fret, any finger, anywhere. So you practice them all over the neck. When you're doing them on a bass string, of course, you're going to bend down and release it back. They're easier to do. On a high string, like your first string, they're harder. And try them with all your fingers. First try a 1-finger bend and release. And then a 2-finger. The first finger is going to help the second. And the thumb, always that thumb for leverage. And then a 3-finger, like I did earlier, where these two are going to help the 3rd finger, and the thumb again for leverage. And a 4-finger, so the little finger is going to bend one of the notes. And these guys are all helping, and as always, the thumb for leverage. So you're trying them all over the place. your fingers in your hand will get stronger as time goes by. It really helps strengthen and toughen the fingertips up too. And besides that, it sounds so cool. All right, good luck, have lots of fun. Ciao. Okay, so I'm on the 2nd string and that's the 7th fret. And what you do here is, remember, you bend first, you don't pick it. You bend it first, and that's approximately a full one. I'm going to do a full. So it's going to be, I'm bending it to make it sound like it's this note here at the 9th fret, 2 away. So you bend it first, then you pick it and release it down to its normal pitch. That's it. When we do bends, if you remember, you should always have some kind of helper finger. See, that's the one bending it, but these two guys are helping. That's the finger that's playing the note, but these two are, helping to bend it. And so's the thumb, hooked for leverage to get that string up there really. So there you go. A pre-bend and release. Okay, so going to demonstrate some unison bends. Hey, here on Lady. So going to do it like I showed on the whiteboard. 1st string, 12th fret on our 1st finger. And then it's the 2nd string, 15th fret with the 3rd finger. Keeping them both on there at the same time. But I also want to add the 2nd finger here. I'm going to go to the 2nd string, 14th fret with the 2nd finger. So these 2 fingers are both on the same string because they're going to work together as teamwork to bend that string. And the thumb, hey, as always, hooked around there for leverage. So if you remember, the numbers were written vertically, so when the vertical numbers are in tab, you need to play them both at the same time. You can hear they sounds kind of bad or weird because that's a D, there's an E. We got to bend this D to make it sound like the E, to match it. So this is the only one that's being bent right there. This one's not. This stays in place, holding it right there, and we go like so. You hear the two, the one that's being bent come into unison with the other one. Cool tune, cool sound, really nice. We can put some vibrato to it when we get there, which is another lesson. But anyway, you can hear that sounds nice as well. So there's an example of unison bend. If we do them there, that was the 1st string and the 2nd string. Let's take that and move them both across one string. So now I'm on the 2nd string, and here's on the 3rd, and we can do them there too. We don't have to bend as much there. That's about where I see people doing them, on the 1st and 2nd and the 2nd and the 3rd. I mean, we can go over and do them on the other strings, but I don't see a whole lot of people. I haven't noticed throughout the years a lot of people doing them on those strings. If you want to hear some really good examples of unison bends by, say, some rock stars, listen to Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, the very last outro solo. Jimmy Page is doing the whole way down the neck. Another good example would be Marilyn Manson's copy tune that he did of the Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams. I think his guitar player's name was Izzy. He could hear him in his solo when it comes in Sweet Dreams, throwing in some unison bends here and there. There's two examples of songs using some unison bends. Again, a great technique, you know. Sounds so cool. All right. This takes some getting used to. You gotta have your fingers up and arched. A lot of times people go to do it and they'll have this finger down and will mute one of the other strings. Remember, when you're doing it, we must hear both. Not just one and not the other, so you listen very carefully. Good luck, have lots of fun. Okay, hey, thank you so much for watching.